Chapter 5, Lesson 3 is Structure of Predication. Let's engage. Since we started schooling, we were taught that a group of words does not express a complete flow without a subject and a predicate. A combination of subject and predicate, or the door of the action and the action itself, makes up a sentence. Predicates always give more information about the subject. They could be a simple or a series of phrases. To find the predicate in a sentence is to always look at what the subject is doing. Predicate. The sentence above consists of a subject and a verb or predicate. The structure of predication is the association between the subject and the predicate of the sentence. A predicate is one of the major constituents in a sentence. The other one is the subject. Both subject and predicates may constitute a word or a group of words. The sentence, Diagon's face, contains a single verb as a predicate, while the she does her work with Diagon's comes with the verb praise as a predicate. Predicates could be a single word, a phrases, or any of the syntactic structure of multiplication, coordination, and complementation. The predicate is the best mark for the structure of predication. If a predicate is a structure of complementation, there is always a verb at its core. An example is, John is kind. The predicate structure starts with is and is complemented by an adjective time. If the predicate is a structure of coordination, the predicate is always marked by a verb as coordinate members. An example is, John sings and dances. The predicate is introduced by an intransitive verb and added with another intransitive verb using a conjunction "and". And if the predicate contains a structure of modification, it always begins with a transitive verb. An example is, John drives a luxurious car. The predicate is marked with the verb drives followed by a direct object car modified by the word luxurious. Examples of predicates. Joshua likes movies so much. Likes movies so much. Jenny and Abba are friends. Are friends. We are advised to stay at home. Are advised to stay at home. The man prepared food for the family. Prepared food for the family. In the structures of predications, verbs are always at the core. The distinction of verb is discussed to understand the structure of predication better. Distinction of verbs. Forms. Verbs are mainly distinguished according to their form. These include the S form and the base form. Verbs always agree with the subject in number. The S form is used when the subject is in the third person singular, while the base form is used in the third person plural. Examples of verbs and S forms. Talks. John talks to Rose. Travels. John travels on foot. In both sentences, John as a subject is singular, thus the verb talk and travel are added with the implication S. But when the subject is plural, the base form of the verb is used. Examples. Talk. John and Mark talk to Rose every day. Travel. John and Rose travel on foot. The verbs used in both sentences are in base form, no inflection S, since the subject is plural. Verb forms also include the distinction between regular and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are those that form their past and past participle by adding ed or d to the base form, while irregular verbs are those that change their form when used as past tense or past participle. Examples of regular verbs. Jacob agreed to the suggestion posed. Agree. He compared the present data to the previous one. Compare. He hoped that those will match. Hope. He adjusts those that did not. Adjust. Examples of irregular verbs. Jacob read the information truthfully. Read. He hurt his head while reading. Hurt. Be quiet. He quit from his job. Quit. He spread the news by posting on social media. Spread. Kinds and function. The predicate structures always vary according to the kinds of verbs used in the sentence. These include linking verbs, auxiliary verbs, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, ergative verbs, prepositional verbs, and modal verbs. Linking verbs are also called copulative verbs. These are verbs that connect a subject to a complement. Linking verbs include be verbs that link the subject to the complement such as is, am, are, was, and were. Linking verbs also involve the verbs that appeal to sentences. Examples. The teachers are productive. The complement is an adjective. S plus LV complement. Jane is here named. The complement is a noun phrase. S plus SL plus LV plus complement. The orchid smells good. Smell is a sense verb. Good is adjective. He grows proud. Grow is a sense verb. Proud is adjective. Auxiliary verbs are those that help the main verbs complete the identity. These include the verb, is, am, are, was, were. Do verbs is do, does, did. Have is has, have, had. And modals can, could, would, might, may, will, etc. Example. The teacher is planning for her lessons. Auxiliary be plus present participle. The students have studied for the class. Auxiliary have plus past participle. Did you do your homework? Auxiliary do plus base form. I will start the program. Modal plus base form. Next is transitive verbs are those that need an object to receive the action. The object could be nouns or pronouns that are direct receiver of the action. Examples. My friend fixed my television. My television is a direct object. My daughter copied her notes. Her notes is a direct object. The teacher examines her work. Her work is a direct object. Intransitive verbs are those that do not need an object to receive the action. This is direct opposite of a transitive verb. A prepositional phrase may be added after the intransitive verb, which when deleted, would not change the message of the sentence. Example. The girl ran away into the forest. Into the forest may be deleted. She hesitates for the job. For the job may be deleted. You snore too loud. Too loud may be deleted. Transitive verbs are verbs that allow two objects such as nouns and pronouns to complete meaning. Examples. He offered me a job. Two objects, me and a job. She handed me the keys. Two objects, me and the keys. I promise you a good day. Two objects, you and good day. Ergative verbs are verbs that may or may not require object, nouns, and pronouns to complete the message. Examples. Mila broke the glass. The glass is object. The glass broke into pieces. Into pieces may be deleted. I dropped my phone. My phone is object. He dropped on the floor. On the floor may be deleted. Prepositional verbs are verbs that need prepositions to complete the ideas. This includes verb-preposition combination. Verb-preposition combination may form phrasal verb and idioms. Examples: he gets along with me fast. Gets along one verb unit. My students drop out of school. Drop out one verb unit. The girls showed off their running shoes. Showed off one verb unit. Verb aspects and tenses. Verb tenses are categorized into the present, past, and future. The present tense includes action that happened in the present at a regular occurrence or factual. Past tense includes action that are done in the past. Future tense are action that are yet to happen. These tenses of the verbs are often associated with the aspects. The aspects include simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. Combining the tenses and aspects would answer the question: when did the action happen and how did it happen? In constructing simple past tense, the verb is always in the past form. The verbs in the simple past tense are actions that are completed in a particular or over a period of time. It also indicates habitual action in the past, actions that are in series, and actions that are true or narrative form from a story. Examples: I had my research yesterday. Completed action. She presented a good summary of the story. Completed action. Yesterday, the sun set at 6 p.m. Factual event.
So good day everyone. I'm going to discuss the simple present tense, simple future tense, past progressive tense, present progressive tense, future progressive tense, past perfect tense, present perfect tense, future perfect tense, past perfect progressive, present perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive. Simple present tense. Simple present tense is an action is happening right now or when it happens regularly. In constructing simple present tense, the verb is either in a S form or base form, depending on the plurality of the subject. The simple present tense is used for habitual action, function, information, use in comments, present feelings and emotion, and current events. For example, the sun rises in the east. This example is an factual event. The sun is the sun is the subject. Rises is the basic verb, and for the basic form. And now, next is simple future tense. Simple future tense is the main verb should be in the base form, preceded by the will or shall. This indicates action that will happen in the future, including plans, promises, and prediction. Example: I will visit you. That is an example of plan. And I shall return is an example of promise. I will graduate is an example of plan or expected. Past progressive tense denotes action that occurred at a certain time in the past or happened while another action took place. In constructing past progressive tense, the pattern is subject plus was plus present, participles, and other places. Example: two action at a time. I was eating when you called. S plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Example of progressive action. The earthquake was happening around 4 p.m. That is sub plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb. Progressive action. Example natin dito is everyone was crying at the end of the sequel. That is serve plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb. Next, present progressive tense denotes action that is happening at a particular time at the present or an event that is happening at a certain time in the future. The duration of the action is evident. In constructing present progressive tense, the pattern is subject plus is and are plus present participle. For example, progressive action, she is teaching math at now. Progressive action, what are you doing? I am studying my lesson. Prestic action, I'm going to buy some grocery. That is subject plus is and are plus present principle. Next is future progressive tense. Future progressive tense denotes action is expected to happen at a particular time in the future. In constructing future progressive tense, the pattern is subject plus will plus be plus present participle. Example, future ongoing action. I will be going to party later. Subject plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb. Future ongoing action. I will be visiting my cousin during the summer break. Subject plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb. Future ongoing action. I will be returning the book on the library. Subject plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb, and that is a progressive tense. Now, next is past perfect tense. Denotes a duration of an action that was completed at a certain time in the past. It also describes the action that is preceded at another past time or events that are expected and hoped for. In constructing the past perfect progressive, the pattern is subject plus had plus past participle. Example, proceeded another time. I have been a teacher since 2004. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Expected. I had imagined that the movie is interesting. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Next is present perfect tense. Denotes an action that happens in the past and completed at the present in constructing present perfect progressive. The pattern is subject plus have or have plus past participle. Examples. The action is done at the time of speaking. I have been different places in the country. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Next, the action is done at the time of speaking. I have already read the Twilight Saga. Subject plus verb, phrase that begin with actually verb. Future perfect tense denotes an action that will be completed in the future before another action. This includes the conditional and actions that will occur at a determined time. In constructing the present perfect progressive, the pattern is a subject plus will or would plus has or have plus past participle. Example, conditional, I will be promoted had been not transferred work. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Conditionals. Example is, had I listened to you, it would not be happen. Subject plus verb plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Expected. Before you become a teacher, you will be master the content. Subject verb plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. Now is past perfect progressive. Denotes an action that is going at the past resulting in another action or interrupted by early action. It's in constructing past perfect progressive form, the pattern is subject plus has plus been plus present participle. Example, the student have been preparing for the examination. Subject plus verb, phrase that begins with actually verb. I had always been expecting to hear you from you. Subject plus verb, phrase expecting that begins with actually verb. Take note that in the sentence above, another action was expected before the stated action was completed. Present perfect progressive denotes an action that began at a particular time in the past, still going on the present, and will possibly continue in the future. In constructing past perfect progressive, the pattern is subject plus has or have plus been plus present participle. Example, I have been studying my lesson in linguistics. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. You have been using my laptop. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. The action in the sentence above are done at a certain time but are carried on the present time. They might still continue on the future. Next is future perfect progressive. Denotes an action that is presently happening and will continue in the future. In constructing past perfect progressive, the pattern is subject plus will plus have plus been plus present participle. Example, will continue. I will have been staying in the town for years. Subject plus verb, phrase that begins with actual verb. Next is will continue. The company will have been operating for a year. Subject plus verb phrase that begins with actually verb. At the heart of every predicate is a verb. The predicate structures undeniably begin with the verbs. Verbs comes from different forms, kinds, function,